Hello, I'm Brecht van de Vyvere, and this is my paper comparing a polling and push-based approach for live open data interfaces. You can find the link to the paper below. This is an interface a user sees when he looks up when his bus is arriving. And you see on the right here that the user needs to press the refresh button to have the latest data. We call this a polling approach, where the client initiates the communication with the server to retrieve the latest update. Another approach is publish-subscribe, where the client subscribes to a resource and the server sends the updates to the client as fast as possible. We saw related work that pushing gives the lowest latency, but how does this scale in an open data environment with thousands of clients, and which approach do open data publishers need to use? We saw that servers and events, a pushing implementation, gives the lower maximal latency in all cases. We could scale pushing until 25,000 clients, where polling we could go only with polling to 8,000 clients. And the maximal latency of pushing is always lower than that from polling. Also, the CPU cost of pushing is lower than with polling. Here you see that this is polling without caching, this is polling with caching, and pushing has a lower CPU cost. So we see that pushing is favored when the latency needs to be as low as possible, and also it has the lowest CPU cost. But what if a user wants or finds a certain latency still acceptable? For example, 10 seconds of latency is acceptable. Then we calculated with the same polling interface at which point he can support the same number of clients as with pushing, when the clients only send one request every X seconds. And this X is the maximal acceptable latency he configures. And there we saw that the requests that are supported by the polling interface, it must be higher than the amount of requests that it retrieves. And for 25,000 users, if they send every 10 seconds one request, then our polling interface can support the same number as pushing. So this means that if users configure a maximal acceptable latency above 10 seconds, then polling actually can support more clients than pushing. So it's the preferred option then. Otherwise, if the latency must be below 10 seconds, choose pushing. And we also saw that HTTP caching should always be applied when possible to lower the server costs for polling. So the next time somebody publishes a dataset, think about your users, what do they find acceptable, and choose your strategy then. Thank you.